everybody, it's Kenny K here again, and I'm gonna talk to you about a movie which apparently is a trauma movie, like one that I did not long ago. There's not out there, which had a good character in there, a Randy of Scream, but 10 times the Randy, telling every bit of horror history, and he's right, and he was right. Now you've got Splatter University. Um, I watched this movie several times, and or I was drunk, or I was roofied, or I was just plain stupid. But I thought it was a good movie. It gets a 4 on IMDb, and it gets a 3.5 from me. So for those who don't want to listen to the spoilers, I'm just gonna say what happens. A man in an insane asylum. Also, the set pieces are so cheap. It's like a decrepit paint chipping office. A guy where the knife is literally thrown to the feet. Thrown because the knife twirls like this to his feet. Normally, a knife, it would just lay there, it would be still, right? Not twirling. He takes that, he escapes, he kills somebody, one of the doctors, and he escapes. And then 3 years later, we go to this high school, which was a warehouse, because they have this lift that opens like this, and then opens the door like this. Never seen such a kind of lift in a fucking school. And most of the teachers are getting killed. A few of the young people, because all of the students are in their 30s, almost 40s, and our lead girl, named Professor Julie Parker, is I think she's the youngest one of the class, and she has to replace a girl, a professor, a young woman who got stabbed to death. And it's weird. Everybody who gets stabbed once, and then they have this bubble balloon of blood coming out of, like a balloon, like it's like you have a candy that blows up and it explodes on the face. So it's weird. And she gets the replacement job. And then, of course, more people in the faculty die. And the movie has like 2 movies in one. One movie is about the teacher's faculty dealing with these killings, and the other movie is about a sort of meatballs movie where you've got students that are so annoying and frustrating that I wanted to stomp on their fucking testicles until nothing was left. This there were just 2 students. No, sorry, 1 student that was good, nice, a pregnant lady, and the other student was more of an airhead, but an innocent airhead. And those get killed. Okay, so the rest of these guys are like goombas, like Italian goombas. Hey, what's the matter with you? Hey, oh Jesus Christ. So that's the movie in a nutshell. I personally hated it. this time. I want those fucking students to die. But like I said, it's two movies in one. They do refer to the killer, Mrs. Julie got killed. Okay, that's a bummer because we have to take the midterm again. Oh yeah, you're right. Well, we'll see who the new one is. It's Mrs. Parker, and that's their remark. You know, that's the way they're talking about somebody getting murdered in their school. Not even a sense of, you know, mourning. No, no, no. Jesus fucking Christ. So that's the story. Now I'm gonna go to the spoilers. So, Splatter University, watch on your risk. Watch on your own risk. That's all I can say. It's fun to talk about, but it's just it's great. So what happens is, like I said, in the insanity, in the insane asylum, a guy who's he's limping, he gets a knife thrown at his feet because it twirls, and it's normally if the knife is just so somebody threw a knife at him to use, which is stupid. Probably somebody of the directional team. Here you go. Okay, he picks up the knife. They're looking for a guy named Graham. They ask the nurse. She's, I don't know, I'm taking my lunch break. Okay. Then they go in this room with all these nutcases, and there's this one frizzly haired guy, and I thought he was one of the nutcases. He said, you ain't gonna get anything about out this bunch." Apparently he was one of the orderlies. Jesus Christ, he was. And the male doctor, orderly or whatever, finds him, and the Graham character sticks the knife in his balls, and it's like, "Ah!" And then what we don't see, he also cut his neck. He puts the clothes on with a big, blood stain on the crotch area, and he, puts the coat over it, and he's gone. 3 years later, we're at school, and it's a Catholic school, so you've got all these priests, and the head priest is called Father. I have to see, Father Jansen. So at some point, Mrs. Parker, Julie, goes to the school really, nervous and such, and she asks this guy Mark Hammond, who is the teacher. He asks, "Where's the head principal's office?" He says, "Right over there, three doors to your right." And, "Okay, thank you." She goes and he does, okay. She goes in the principal's office. He's probably one of the better actors. He's welcome, but I have to tell you what happened because full disclosure, and he tells about the murder, and she didn't know about it, but okay, she takes the job, and he's glad, and he's in a wheelchair, but he has this twitch, the spasms on his leg, and he says that's the reason. I get that sometimes. That's the reason why I'm in the chair. Okay. That's already a clue. They go to her class, and it's full of these airhead Goomba motherfuckers. And there's this one guy who 2 or 3 times constantly spoils the class. I mean, he's like doing. Okay, can we talk about a topic that's now today talked in the news? And he's like going to a book saying, "What about abortion?" And then she gets, oh, shit, abortion. That's a hot topic in America. That's really uh, still taboo, especially in the 80s. She, so she sort of makes a fool of herself. And the guy said, ah, you shouldn't have punked her like that. Oh, she deserved it. Why? Because she was kind, courteous. This guy looks 40 years old. Let's say, here's courtesy. Vom, right in your fucking face. So, a teacher, a priest follows the class. Then she has to go to Jansen's office, the head priest, and she's saying, keep the, by the curriculum, it's known to work. Don't go from the curriculum, it's shown to work. And she can't go off topic. Boom. That was his speech. Then we see lots of scenes of the young guys. You've got a guy who's dealing drugs like weed to some girls and a guy, and the Ayla, psh, 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 a cat and dog are having a fight because of this stupid movie, Splatter University. Yeah, you piece of. Look, here she is. Okay, here, sit down. So she had this guy. Look, oh yeah, I got some drugs. Yeah, he's just a white guy, fat white guy, and then they go to the tank station store where they can buy beer, and there's this guy called the Wolf, a Goomba guy, you know, an Italian asshole, who's saying, instead of hey, oh, he says, oh, and I swear to you, he says, oh, 7 times in 30 seconds. It really got to my nerves, and I wanted to think. And this guy was, when he talked, was annoying. I hope that was cannon fodder, these students, but they're not. They're not. They're dealing in tests, stolen tests, selling them for $10 a pop. Oh, these are frustrating people. Not faithful to their girlfriends. Ugh. One girlfriend admits she's pregnant by her boyfriend, and I don't know if he knew this because he says, are you knocked up maybe? He wants to go to the drive-in. She wants to meet him personal, but he doesn't want to go. He just wants to go to the drive-in or go to this place where all his buddies are. So he doesn't. The women in this movie are treated like garbage, pure garbage. Eventually, she says, "Okay, let's go to the drive-in." Then we're alone in the car, and she says he says, "What's the matter? Are you knocked up?" She smiles and she says yes. And then he does something like he punches the popcorn away. I thought he was gonna deck her, but then she starts kissing her. Maybe he was happy. I'm not sure, but then they heard something in the mist, and this sounded like the drive-in, the most creepy drive-in theater I ever saw. No cars, and cars arrived there. Mrs. Julie was there with her awkward relationship with Mark, the teacher. And awkward, I mean, "Hi, how are we going to your place? We'll see. We'll see." And then when she says, "Are you going to your place? I got a lot of things to do." It's really awkward. It's really, really awkward, that relationship between those two. Apparently, the guy goes looking out. It's misty. Girlfriend goes looking for her boyfriend, and she gets her throat slit. One of the only decent girls, and she's pregnant. And eventually, she's sitting in the front. He's sitting back in the back to watch the movie, and he's saying, "Okay, be a bitch and say nothing. I'm gonna see the movie." He probably didn't know that she was dead when he had to drive her to her home. "Oh, you're dead," because the next day he's already with another girl. Fucking piece of shit. Ah. And another girl gets killed because this priest named Priest Williams, he has the habit of raping girls, and he raped or sexually assaulted that student, and she gets killed with a knife through the mouth because she, I mean, did something that isn't right. Why not kill that filthy fucking priest? He fucked a lot of girls. The other girl he fucked was one of the faculty, and she gets killed and gutted. Later, she's found with her guts hanging out. She's got a little bit of diversity in the kills. And then when she's on a date with Mark, she says, "Did you know the teacher in the beginning who gets killed?" And we go back to that scene, and somebody's knocking on the door, and she says, "Mark." And then we go back to the dinner scene, and he says, "Never heard of her." So he's lying. Also weird. And wait a second, I think my dog needs to pee. I'm right back. Oh, Jesus Christ. Come on. Come on. Come on, Chief. Come on. Come on. I've got to let her in. So sorry for the inconvenience, but so Professor Cynthia, her girlfriend, the only friend she has on the campus, they start to talk, and she says, "Are you going out, Mark?" "Yeah." And she's like, "Huh, why are you saying that?" "Because the campus thinks Mark killed her." And oh shit, I'm going to his house. He's not there yet. He's teaching. I'm going to his house. I have his keys to his apartment. Although they have a really awkward relationship, they do have the keys to each other's apartment. So he goes to the apartment, finds all these snippets of paper. Slasher strikes again. Slasher kills again. Fourth kill of the slasher. And she sees that, but Mark is arriving. She bails out right in time, but he sees her driving away. Now, what happens is Cynthia wants to go to the principal and say what they found, the day after, for some reason there's smoke, but there's nothing on fire, but it stinks. And they open a closet, and it's Cynthia with like her head being completely knifed in and her guts hanging out. Okay, she's dead. She's dead. And eventually she wants to stop the job. She wants to move away. Mark is there at her apartment when she's moving. And he's like, you gotta know the full truth. You gotta know what's happening. And she kicks him in the balls, and she runs away. And eventually she goes to the head priest, Jansen, to talk about. She knows who the killer is. She thinks Mark. And Jansen is like, you stupid girl. You know what you did. You interfered. And then he's driving. He takes his cross off his wall, like lays it on the desk. He climbs out of his chair, takes the cross, and that was cool. He takes a knife out of it, and she kicks him on the leg, which has the spasms, and he's getting those one, and he's limping behind her. And you know, those trauma movies, they do tend to have cool camera angles, so you see the killer from this point sweating, going after the victim. But she's caught. Mark arrived at the school as maybe being the hero, but she's constantly yelling like a fucking banshee in heat. And the principal knows the entire school, of course, out of his just blindly. And she goes in this elevator. Wrong move, baby. Wrong move. Because you don't know. Because while in the elevator, she's like, ah! Ah! He hears this. The door opens. She's standing right in front of her. She tries to run away in an elevator that's where you can't run away in. He takes her by the neck, slashes her open from the head to her bottom. Dead meat. Our final girl is dead. I have to admit, he had the balls to kill her. And then Mark arrives. He finds a way in, and he finds the principal immediately called the police, played the charade, and then Mark comes in and he sees the cross full of blood. And after that we see Father Jansen in a straitjacket. His name was Graham, so he was the guy of the beginning, and he thinks he's a priest of a Catholic school. And now comes the weird part. The Catholic school doesn't do background checks. They just, oh, you're a priest? You're the man. I mean, shouldn't there be a background check? One, if he's a priest. Two, if he's qualified. The guy isn't qualified. He's been spending his entire life in an insane asylum because he's a killer, a nutcase killer. But he apparently gets the job. Now, and they're joking that now probably the school is gonna do some background checks. Yeah, I hope so. Sorry, but this movie is bad. 3.5. Don't watch it. It's just, you got that 80s cheese, and it's fun maybe to see that 80s cheese. The acting, the only one that acted good is for Jansen, and maybe Cynthia, the girlfriend. She was sort of the the moral one, and that's it. The rest are scumbag, irritating students. They are in every lesson. Basically they're basically taunting the teacher. She's and she's like, okay, okay. She's always falling for it. It's sorry, man. Bad movie. 3.5 means no watch. No watch for. Listen, everybody has his own opinion. And maybe you like it, but I certainly didn't. So I'm giving it a 3.5. Do it what you will. And see you later. Hope you subscribe for this horror fun community. And see you next clip. Bye bye. Stupid fucking. Close, damn you, close. Okay. I'm filming.